Welcome everybody to the MiniMapCast. This is minimap.com.au's weekly games podcast, your favorite weekly games podcast. First one of 2023. My name is Kerry Palmer, and joining me, as always, is Jeremy Braditich. How are you, Jeremy?
I'm good. We made it. It's a new year. It's the same podcast, but it's better.
It is. As always, it is the same but better. What does that mean? I don't know. I didn't really think about that before I said it. This is our third start for the podcast. But aside from that, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
In the pre-show live on Twitch, we were talking about the Black Eyed Peas. The Black Eyed Peas. And when the song "I Got a Feeling" came out, I thought it came out in like 2012, maybe 1 year prior, maybe 1 year earlier, maybe 1 year older. But no, it came out in 2009. And Jeremy quite happily told me that he was in primary school when that song came out.
Final year of primary school, but definitely still primary school.
It's definitely not primary school, that's for sure. And then you said, I got more to say about this, but we should do it live.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
So for those playing at home, anybody keeping an eye on some of the social media pages, I've been making some additional posts on our social media pages. You can find those to Minimap, any social media page at MiniMapAU. Stuff just like news reports or announcements and
Check us out on Hive.
No. Or weekly, this week these games are going to release, that sort of stuff, just to sort of keep you informed and keep the algorithm in our favor and all that good stuff. And so what I've been doing is I've been throwing together ideas so I can sort of try and have a post every day. Haven't quite hit that, but I got one every weekday, every working day, which I think is a pretty good start to go for so far. And I was like, what's an easy win? I'll make a backlog of every game that has got an anniversary this year, and I can schedule those so far in advance because the anniversary is not going to change, and so I can just have I've got a list here of a couple of games that have their anniversaries. Celeste is turning 5 years old this year, Kerry.
Oh man, that hurt. That one hit me like heartburn. Holy shit!
Oh yeah, the Nintendo Labo is turning 5 years old this year, Kerry.
Oh.
And did you also know that Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire on the Game Boy Advance is turning indeed 20 years old this year, Kerry?
I guess that makes sense.
And finally, just to put the nail on the head, Super Smash Brothers.
I've got one more to add to this, but yes, okay. Continue.
Super Smash Brothers Brawl is turning 15 this year. Yeah, right?
Yeah, it all checks out.
It does all check out, unfortunately. Yikes. Just a bit of a downer to start the year on, I reckon.
Yeah, thank you for that. I remember my I didn't ever own Brawl, but my stepbrother at the time, de facto stepbrother, whatever. His group of friends, they were big into Smash, they were big into Melee, and then Brawl came out, so they're big into that one. And they got it faster by ordering an international copy. And they had to run this disc that cracked the Wii every time they wanted to. It cracked the region lock on the Wii, but They had to do it every time they restarted the console.
Yeah,
and you put this disc in.
It's like hot swapping a disc, was it?
No, it wasn't even that. You put the disc in, and it'd be that Wii home menu music of boom, and they would just go like bee, and then a line would scroll down the screen while that sound happened. And to get to the bottom and immediately resume back to boom, boom, boom.
I remember.
And then you could put in the Brawl disc and play it.
Yeah, I had, yes. Yeah, I had that.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I don't remember what it was either.
Yeah. It's cool though.
It was
like
cool.
Little 13-year-old me was like, whoa.
Yeah, right.
But Jeremy, that all reminds me of something actually. Labo, Celeste, these things being 5 years old. As of thank you, Alex, for saying it was a stunning recreation. I didn't want to say it, so I'm glad someone did. Speaking of being 5 years old, this month is the 5-year mark of the first time we did content together.
Fuck.
I'm pretty sure, unless it was February, but Uncharted Lost Legacy, our first Game Club podcast, which we did while the website was under construction, before we had the name Minimap.
Yeah,
that was our first piece of content.
Yeah. What am I meant to do with that?
It's just me giving you back my heartburn for Celeste.
Minimap is going to primary school as of this year.
Maybe Minimap is in that weird 4-month period where you could send Minimap to school like a year ahead, or wait until the next year and they could be a bit older.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Like me, because I was born in February.
Yeah.
I started early and then I repeated a year.
Yes.
Anyway, let's start the show. We got a few things to talk about at the front. We're going to talk about our plans for 2023 for Minimap, talk about some of the games we played during the break, and then after the break of this podcast, not of the new year that we just had that I just mentioned when I said break before, but the current episode break. After this current episode break, we'll be doing our 2023 predictions for the industry for the year 2023 after the break.
Yep.
So stick around for that. But before all of that, let's get through the intros. The MiniMapCast, this here show that you're listening to right now, goes live on all podcast platforms. These are new dates, everyone. Pay attention. All podcast platforms every Wednesday, with 24 hours of early access given to all of our wonderful patrons. More on that in a little bit. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you tell your friends and give the show a positive rating wherever you listen to your podcasts. It makes a huge difference, and it only takes a few seconds. If you want to get notified every time a new episode is released, you can follow us on social media, on so many social medias. We are at MiniMapAU on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and also Twitch, where we are live right now every Monday night, 6:30 p.m., another new time, 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time for the live recording of the MiniMapCast. We always hang out with chat before the show, during the current episode break, and after the show. And if that sounds like a good time, you can come and hang out with us there. That's free. That's every Monday night, 6:30 p.m. We wanted to say thank you to Shook for letting us use the Moog Model D Improv as the music for the Minimapcast. You can listen to more of Shook's music at shook.bandcamp.com. And finally, Minimap is completely independent and funded entirely. Wait, what? And funded almost entirely out of our own pockets. To help keep the mics and lights on, you can support us by becoming one of our patrons. For only $5 a month, you get the aforementioned 24-hour early access for all episodes of the MiniMapCast, some extra little bonus features we're planning on cooking up, and more. Head on over to patreon.com/MiniMapAU to help us out. And remember, it's cheaper than a latte with oat milk.
I had to...
Jeremy, that was flawless.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. That was great. Nice job.
That was seamless. That was like a slip and slide.
Without seams.
Yeah.
When I wrote that, I had to make sure to include almost entirely funded, because technically every month we get $2 from one Brad Francis, our good friend.
Yes, thank you, Brad Francis.
A good friend who used to do the music for the previously named Game Spoilers podcast. Yeah,
our first bit of music came from Brad. Brad, we went to uni with Brad. And he's helped me keep the ship afloat. So thank you as always, Brad.
What if he knows? I wonder if he's any idea that for the past 3 years he's given
Knowing Brad, probably not. Maybe, I reckon within the last 3 years, he's probably looked at his account once and been like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Probably.
And just let it go.
Hope so.
In which case, thank you all the more.
Yeah. Now,
Jeremy, I'm leaving this here front what we're doing section to you to handle. Just because I don't know how to view it in Notion succinctly, but Notion is like an accurate mapping of your brain right now, the ant tunnels of your brain. So please run us through it.
Yeah, so it's a new year.
2023.
We're gonna do some more stuff. We're gonna do some full on content creation for the website. When we can, make some time, do some things, put it together, be happy with what we make, and hopefully share that with you. And hopefully you watch that or read that or consume that in any way, shape, or form and enjoy it. And if you do, make sure you let us know. We're making it because we want to make it, but we're making it because we want to do more things and have this be a more impactful part of the job, right? We want to be able to. We started a website 5 years ago, and since then we've done a whole lot of podcasts, and
so much podcasting.
You would never believe just how many podcasts we have done. I certainly don't, and I've got the number.
Yeah. It's probably close to like 180 now.
Something like that, right? And we've done little things in between there. I've dabbled in like a news show, which I couldn't quite commit to. We've written some articles. We've got some Let's Play highlights that Kerry's thrown together. Kerry did a review for us.
Live stream reactions.
Yeah, tons of stuff, right? But what if we took a big old swing for actually keeping a really consistent schedule of content coming out? So that includes a couple of things. The biggest one, I think, that we wanted when we decided to really swing this year, the first thing we always wanted to do was to bring back the previously named Game Spoilers podcast, now named Minidisc. We've spoken about it for quite a while, but we are finally bringing it back. Alex, who is in the chat, is going to be on the inaugural episode.
Oh yes, the first one. Yes,
which is exciting. That one is going to be the mini disc podcast used to be a monthly show. We want to make sure we can get it done right, so it's currently going to be a bi-monthly show slash. What did I say? What did I say on Discord? Fortmonthly show. Fortmonthly show. One every 2 months.
It's the Fortmonth.
Yes. And like I said before, Alex is going to be on the first one. The Minidisc show is going to be a lot more guest focused, right? It's not just going to be Kerry and I for the most part. It might be if things don't land the way they do sometimes with scheduling across people, sometimes that happens, but for the most part it's going to be a show which is going to feature an additional voice, usually people that we've known through the industry or want to meet. This will be a really good place to do it. We're also going to start doing like some other stuff as well. One of the ideas that I think that we want to be able to try and put together, which I think we can, is sort of a reaction to E3s of old is sort of what I've dubbed it for now. Basically, we're just going to watch some old E3 streams and sort of talk to them a bit, talk about
like the history.
Yeah, like the history of what this E3 was, where the industry was at that time, the announcements that came with those E3s.
Where is Deep Down?
Yeah, like did this game come out? Did this game not come out? Where is this person who is on stage now? Did they swap from Activision to Microsoft? Did they swap from Microsoft to Activision? If your name is Phil, there's a good chance of both. There was a guy named Phil who was in both. The guy who went on to make Stadia. He was yeah. There's a lot of that, and that stuff's interesting. So what we reckon is going to be it's going to be very just reacty. We're just going to watch it. We might pause it occasionally to sort of talk to some stuff and keep going. It's going to be a video show. It's going to be on Patreon.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Patreon early, and then it'll be put on our YouTube channel after the fact. We'll make a post on the website and all that good stuff.
I have a quick question, Jeremy. Do you envision that we'll be doing multiple, like maybe we do a series of like the shows from 2004 and we do Microsoft, Nintendo, PlayStation?
I reckon so. I reckon that seems like the fun way to do it. We could do like a bunch of, we could do all of, the, who's a company that used to do E3s, like...
Yeah, like Square Enix occasionally.
Yeah,
and
like, there were
Konami.
Yeah, there were companies that used to do E3 prior to them not being really big enough to do E3. So we could do a couple of those little ones as well as we go. So yeah, like stuff like that. We're going to be writing an article. There's going to be an article going up on the website every week. Primarily probably going to be launching that on a Friday. Those articles are probably going to go live on a Friday. It'll be one from Kerry, one from me, rotating weeks. Going to write more. That was the point of the website. What if we bring it back to the point of the website? Have a good time. It'll be all good.
Yeah, stretch some new muscles too. Like
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had those muscles like properly stretched in a way that was like, we're putting our thinking caps on is what I'll say.
Yeah, doing a bit more learning, doing a bit more practice, doing a bit more growing.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, so like that's it for the most part. We've also got we have relaunched our old MiniMap Discord. That is now sitting there. You can join that. That is currently available to be joined via the website. If you go to the top or the bottom of minimap.com.au, there is a little Discord link. It will open up for you. If you subscribe to our Patreon, you will get a patron-only Discord role, which there's just like an additional channel for all the cool patrons to hang out with and chat.
But also, it's totally free. Come hang out.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a ghost town right now, but come and help us build it.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be more than that.
Yeah. It's
and we're going to fill it out a bit more too. But
yeah, it's not just a ghost town. It's promised land. You know, it is a forest ready to be. It is not a forest. It's a field ready to become a forest. You know, that classic saying.
It's a forest ready to be felled. Ready to be absolutely stripped clean, tumbled over. Are you ready for concrete?
It's a forest ready to be a parking lot. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of stuff coming in the pipeline. We're gonna do like, for example, the second episode of the Mini Disc podcast is gonna be about Star Wars. Jedi Survivor, that one's going to be on there. But we've also got some other stuff that we're sort of throwing together, trying to get some regular good content out, and we would love it if you joined us along the way.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking for the calendar, Jeremy.
Yeah,
I don't think I can't find it. When is my article meant to go up? Is that a week from now?
It is the
week and a half?
27th of January is when yours is currently set to be due.
All right, everyone. Week and a half from now, I'm going to have an article up. So keep me honest. If you can't find it, nothing's wrong, probably. But
yeah. If you're looking
I said that, I'm like, I don't know where to go from here.
If you're looking for it and you can't find it, then ping us, and that might actually make us go, oh, fuck, someone wants to read my stuff.
Fuck, holy shit, look at that.
So
literally at me.
Yeah.
Not don't at me, please.
So yeah, that's the state of the website. Make sure you follow. So our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter page, they are now being used much more than they ever have been. So if you want to sort of keep a very like tangential eye on new developments that are happening at any given moment, games that are going to come out this week, new reports that are coming through, announcements, you know, of an Xbox Direct or whatever the hell they're calling it, you know, you can go to our social media page and find that stuff. We're not writing articles about the news, but we are at least sharing it with you so you can get a lot actually out of following us.
Yeah.
So make sure you do it.
Exactly.
It's a good time.
And just for people in chat, well, we're directing you to the website, but I may as well just post it for you in chat. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's plenty to look forward to, and you know, we'll see how it goes. As always with Minimap, we kind of we make our plans and then we find our rhythm. So we'll see how it goes. I reckon we've set a really sustainable schedule for mini disc, and the sort of 2 monthly schedule will allow us to do something new and exciting in the months off, hopefully. So if Jeremy is ready for another deep dive, if I finally do my Last of Us thing, that's kind of where you can expect that to be. So yeah, mini discs you can expect at the start of the second month, at the first week of the second month, or of the even months of the year.
The first week,
February, April, June, August, October, December.
I don't think I'd be able to do that without skipping one in my head. So nice.
I almost missed August. I almost forgot about August.
It doesn't.
So yeah, look forward to that. That's about it. I'm very excited to have new guests on. Have any guests on? It's been a while since we've had guests on. Meet some new friends, people in the industry, people we've seen on Twitter, people you know more than I do, people I know more than you do. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited for how our plans pan out. Jeremy's made some new backgrounds and graphics. Going to try and find some new music for this other show. It's going to be great. We have to do that, by the way, Jeremy.
I know. I've been. I'll tell you later.
All right, righto. That's enough of the background. Yeah. Thank you for being here to listen to us and enjoy this. If if you are listening to this kind of episode, it means you've been here because you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, you've been here because, I don't know. It just means a lot whenever anyone is here to listen to what we make, and kind of I don't know. It means a lot. So thank you. Moving on, we're gonna get into the normal show now and talk about the games we've been playing. It's been a bit of a weird break in terms of games. I haven't like dived like neck deep into my backlog so far that like I finished this and that and this and I did that and I didn't like it, and it, like, done a bit of that here and there, and I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but like, you know, also Christmas happened and all of that. So we've got a couple of random things to talk about. Jeremy, I know you've been bottled up for weeks since break started, and you spent I want to say like 4 days game time over the course of like
I don't know if
10 days.
I don't know if it was that much. It was because like I did leave it on a little bit, but I've finally been playing Death Stranding in a real way.
Yeah, because you said before the break how you'd picked it up. You started it like 3 times.
Yeah, I've done the beginning of the game 3 times. Once once when the game came out, and then once when it came out on PC, and then once more when it came when the director's cut launched on the PlayStation 5. I picked that up on launch as well, which was just an upgrade. I didn't have to buy the game for a 3rd time. So I've been playing Death Stranding.
That's for the best.
Yes. I've been playing Death Stranding, and the thing about Death Stranding is this game is great. This game is so good. I can't believe how good this game is.
You went from like, oh, the game's never really hooked me, and Kojima's such a weird, to just like, let me tell you about The Strand.
It's
like,
yeah, right. Like, so,
like you came, like we were like, oh, let's hang out on Discord, and you're like, so I'm just gonna sit here on chat, and I've brought my PlayStation down from the TV where I was playing it, and now I'm gonna play it at my desk and keep playing it.
Yes, yeah. I
watch me like this bridge.
I did do that.
And it was great.
It was great. So there's a couple of. I'm just gonna share it. Like, Death Stranding has been around for a little while now. People know a fair bit about this game, so I'm not gonna bother going into like what the game is and all that stuff. I'm just gonna share some stuff that kind of really took me by surprise. Of like I couldn't quite believe how much this game did interesting things in interesting ways. And I know that sounds like reductive and like stupid, but like part of the wonderful appeal of Death Stranding genuinely is I think that this is a very when we talk about indie games, oftentimes we talk about a specific idea that is executed upon to a at least different or unique or novel degree, right? And that's a reductive way to describe indie games, because that's not what indie games mean, but that happens to be what a lot of indie games do, and why a lot of indie games really become like hits or cult hits, depending on the game, is because you can point to it and say, this singular game that is only made by a handful of people, executed on this one idea exceptionally well. You know, Superhot is a perfect example of an indie game that executes on a first-person shooter game which only moves when you move. That is the whole game. There is more to the game than that, with a whole lot of different things. But when you boil the game down, that is what that game is, right?
Yeah.
Death Stranding is kind of like that. Death Stranding is a very, very singular, like, focused game about like about the forming connections, I guess, right? The strands, if you will. But the game is very. I'll be the first to say the game is quite wanky when it comes to all of that stuff.
What?
but they still nail it, right? You can be pretentious and still know exactly that you are being really good at something, right? I will watch.
Sure, like you can own it.
Yeah, James Cameron is a phenomenal director. He's pretentious as all hell, but holy shit, does he almost earn that? Almost, right? Almost. I don't think anyone.
Are you here to say that Kojima earns his pretentiousness more than James Cameron?
Relatively speaking, in their own respective mediums, I think they earn it the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this game is, rebuilding America, Sam, Porter Bridges, all that stuff, right? And, there's characters named Die Hard Man and Dead Man and
the thing that messed me up is that, like, Bridges is his last name. It's also the name of the company. Also, you can build bridges.
Yes.
Also, Porter is his role, but it's also his name. Porter is his role inside of the company Bridges, which is also his name. Like, what the? Yeah. That is so messed up.
It's very silly. It's a very silly game, and I think the game knows how funny and silly that is. You don't hire Guillermo del Toro to be in your video game and call him Dead Man and have him have normal conversations with someone named Die Hard Man if you don't have a sense of humor, right? Like, this game is funny. This game is capital F funny. But the things that really, really surprised me were the way that I genuinely felt that even though this world is persistent and has been persistent for a while, and at the end of the day, the game has built all of the things through its community, right? Like the community has built the roads that appear that I'm driving along. They've built the highway that I've been putting resources towards as I go. They've been building these post boxes and power generators and robot stations, all of this stuff. They've built all of this stuff around, knowing that it was still designed and decided that all of these buildings and places were built by the community, but is a part of the narrative, was really quite striking towards the end. Because when you enter the second zone of the game, the second large zone, there is a moment where you can see this building that will build a highway for you. People have talked to death about this highway, but I'm going to continue talking about this highway. That as you progress,
excuse to me, please.
So there's a highway that is unbuilt, completely unbuilt, and you get there and you go up to the first bit of the highway and you can put some resources into the highway, and it will then print it for you in front of you. But it doesn't go anywhere because that's only one of like maybe 20 sections of highway that are there. And so as you're going, you realize that there's like these highways take like a fucking lot of resources, like way more that would be feasible for me to put into this game on my own.
Yeah,
it's a
like your bridge will break and decay by the time you can fund it yourself.
Like in a metaphorical sense, yes. As you progress narratively through this chapter, it pulls more and more parts of the community that are at that point in the game as you, and pulls your resources together. So you're all building this bridge. So I came back and saw 4 more chunks of this bridge highway built already for me, which was like, holy shit. Like I didn't do all of that. And then they do some really clever stuff. The next part of the bridge, it's almost done. It's almost done. And you know,
just needs 10 more metal and a bit of sand. And
that's all it needs. That's all it needs. Well, I'm already here. I'm sure I can find some nearby. And then you look around for some packages. You scan for packages nearby. It's like, oh, this package is here. Oh, this package was left here by someone else playing this game. And they throw you the gamer tag and the PlayStation little picture. So I can then pick up someone else's package and walk over to the post box. Walk over to this thing and put it in the machine, finish printing the bridge. And then I realized that means that I finished a bridge for someone else. And so then I own that piece of bridge. That bridge is Obi-Wan Jazz's bridge. And then I'm traveling around, continuing on through the game. And I come back to this area and I sync back up with this area. I connect back to the area's network. And I get like 1,000 likes. Because people have been using my bridge. And the bridge is great. This highway bridge is incredible, right? It's not just because I built it, because it takes you over so much terrain. It makes your life so much easier. And so you're building this road, and people who are playing the game are building this road. And I am also on this road and liking other people's sections of road because I built some of this road and someone else finished the next part for me. Yeah, throw them a like. They get that as well. That's kind of wild. And it's not like a lot, but it functions so well in the game as a mechanic, as an online piece of community, and also a narrative plot point of what it really means to build this community. Because they talk about rebuilding like America over and over again, but like what they really mean is like a rebuild, like reconnecting humanity. It's about reconnecting people back on to this shared collectiveness of everybody helping one another, right? And this whole game about, you know, mailmen going through, you know, America to deliver packages to reconnect people, you know, like, again, people have spoken to this to death, but that game came out pre-COVID, and then suddenly it was happening at that exact moment.
Oh yeah, what was it? 4 months later after the game came out,
something like that. Wasn't it
November to March?
Wasn't it a 2018 game?
No, 2019.
Right. Okay. There you go. And the flip side of that, right? I was carrying far too much luggage with me at a point. I didn't have any vehicles on me, and so I'm walking through like this rough terrain, and I accidentally walk into a river that is just too deep for me. And Sam slips, and some of the packages fall off of him, and they start going down river at breakneck pace. And and I'm scrambling. I'm like, get the fuck up, and like I'm trying to like grab as many packages as I can while the packages are flowing down river. And I don't get all of them. Some of them go too far and they go out into the ocean, and they're gone. But some of them were on parts of the terrain that I just couldn't quite get there, and they went down a different part, and they didn't go into the ocean, they just went out into down the river, far too far for me to bother going. Like, fuck. And it was mission critical, like side mission, but it was side mission critical cargo. I was like, well, I failed that. About 25 minutes later, I was playing the game. Someone else had picked up my package for me. And then took it to the post office for me. And then I picked it up and then finished the mission.
Nice.
Which was like, that was not like a game. That was like an online thing. Like someone did that. Someone found my package and threw it on their back and finished the journey for me.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool. That is so fucking cool.
Uh-huh.
What a cool video game thing.
Uh-huh.
I can't believe it.
So, a quick question.
Yeah.
How do these emergent sort of moments feel, or pseudo-emergent, because they're somewhat designed.
Sure.
But like, how do those connection moments feel in comparison to the narrative and the story being told by the game, with the characters, with Fragile, with Troy Baker, with whatever?
Yeah, it all feels linked. It all does feel really cohesive in a lot of ways.
Okay, that's impressive.
It really is impressive, because like a lot of the villain of the game, Higgs, I'm still not 100% on. Like I don't quite understand absolutely everything that he's doing it. I understand that like there's stuff about him like nuking cities and stuff, and I think he just wants to like destroy the country. Like, but I haven't got the like crux of him just yet. But a lot of the other characters, they understand the important, like the network in the game is called the chiral network. And a lot of the time you go up to a new place or a new person who's got their own outpost and wants to deliver cargo, or they want to join the network. They seek you out, and or you go up to them and you try and convince them, say, hey, join us in our rebuilding, in our shared collectiveness. And if they say no, oftentimes you do a mission or two for them to allow them to get a better understanding and then join it. Or they might do it immediately because they understand the importance of it. And they have a level of like the importance of this network existing. So the package that I lost it while I lost it in an area that was connected to the chiral network. if I had lost it outside of the network, someone would not have been able to pick it up and then put it in for me. It's this weird pseudo online offline area which is location based in the game that you will only get so far before you're essentially off the grid. And once you're off the grid, those emergent moments stop happening. Other people's buildings don't exist yet because you're not connected to them, because those buildings are uploaded to the pseudo internet. And so the moment you leave this network, you realize how much harder it is,
right?
Which plays into the narrative, right?
And how much you've been quietly enjoying bits of help and that sense of community.
Random ladders, signs saying there are BTs this way. Somewhat like there are signs you could put up that just say like "good job" or like "have a nice day," and when you walk through those lines, you get a little bit of extra stamina.
Oh yeah, nice.
Like there's tons of that little stuff. There are signs that will, when you drive through them, it will calm down the BB. There's a sign like my favorite one is the one that when you walk in, it goes like keep on keeping on, and it just allows you to just walk a little bit further every time, which is so more than just a sign.
Yeah,
because it is a both metaphorical and literal way of giving you a bit of extra, like, get up and go this time you're leaving the building.
Totally. It also, like, the way they phrase it is like that sounds like a more genuine kind of like a way that, like, a shorthand for like the ways like truckies would speak to each other or something like that.
It is
just
only
like,
other porters that will say that to each other, right? It is it's the exact.
It's like the bus driver wave to the other bus driver.
It's the public transit people saying that to each other. There's a moment in Blade Runner where a cop talks to Deckard at the beginning because he doesn't realize that Deckard's also a cop, and they have this awkward chat of like these two guys that is doing their job, and they don't really want to talk to each other longer than they have to talk to each other. And at the end, the cop says to Deckard, "Have a better one." And it's such a little moment, but it's such like it's such a piece of flavor.
Yeah.
That this game is honestly really full of.
That's cool. Do you think you've kind of paused on it?
Yeah, I just got busy with life. There was no I didn't fall off of it. I do have the urge to go back and keep playing.
Okay, cool. You think you'll be doing that in the coming weeks, or you'll see?
Hopefully over the next, there's January and February are kind of light on releases, so hopefully I'll try and get through then. Like there's a couple of things, but nothing I'm really interested in, so I can sort of comfortably sit into it.
Yep. Cool. Awesome. It was very fun to see you go from skeptical to like convert, evangelist.
Like honestly, like I was it's not that I was skeptical, but I just needed the time and the place. I was waiting for the right moment to really jump into it. And I think I chose a good moment because we were done with Game of the Year. Excuse me. We were done with Game of the Year. I was like finishing up with work for the year. I got to kind of like just relax for a bit. So
great.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't play Death Stranding. I played more Horizon. I played a bit of Fallen Order for the first time in years. But the game I really want to talk about tonight, for this episode, I on and off again for about 3 weeks, I was trying to organize one single game of Among Us in VR.
Yes.
And it was tricky because the people who were most interested in doing this with me, who reached out in the first place, so I kind of jumped on the bandwagon with, were other like freelancers and industry people, like not in this country.
Yeah.
And
right.
so not only was it difficult trying to make an Among Us thing, is like, oh, when are we all free? But it was also across like people in the UK, people in the States, different like coasts on the States, someone. There was someone who was closer to our time zone. I don't know where they were. But point is, finally got a game together. And I did get to play Among Us VR, and It wasn't for very long, but it was very fun. It's I was there was no round where the traitor was completely successful after we got the hang of things, where we knew how to do the sabotage puzzles. There was a while where we were like, oh, I don't even know what to do here. Oh, they just win because it timed out. Once we got past all of that stuff, like the imposter never won. And I think it's because it feels like it's so much harder to sneak up on other people when you're actually like walking behind them, kind of, you know what I mean? Or people can like look around you.
Yeah.
Like it was really interesting. But there were a few times. There was one time where I was the imposter, and I was walking behind someone, and someone turned. I don't think I'd killed anyone. I think someone called an emergency meeting. Someone else called an emergency meeting. But I was walking behind someone to get them. And they turned around, and then the meeting was called. And they were like, I got a big suspicious energy here about Carrie. I'm like, a suspicious what was it? It was like malicious intent or suspicious, and it was like, all right, okay, whatever. Apparently I have a malicious energy about me, and they voted me off, and I was the one, and I was out. They were right. Like they read my actions. They read my just trying to put it together. It was very funny.
What you meant to do at that point is say, what do you mean you were sneaking up on me, is the first thing you're supposed to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to play it cool. There was a second time that was really funny though. So on the Oculus controllers, the triggers basically activate any interactable that you want to do. So if you're in the imposter and you want to go in the vent, you use one of the triggers on your hands. And it's like the trigger to go out as well. You got the thumbsticks to scroll left and right if you need to. And one of the buttons is the map button. And so there's one point we're in a big group together, and you use the map to, when you're in the imposter, to like close off doors and hit the reactor and X, Y, and Z. And we're in this big group, and everyone was like, "Oh, we're still alive," and I was the imposter. And I was like, "Oh, fuck, this is tricky." This is the last match that we played, and so I tried to pull up my map again to get something to happen on the other side of the ship, so we split up a bit. But the other face button does the same thing as the trigger.
Right.
Which is, when you're the imposter and you're close to someone, is kill them.
Yeah.
And so I try to open my map, and I'm like, I don't remember which one. It's this one. Snap someone's neck. And there's like prox chat in this as well. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? And someone like looked at me and was like, reported the body. And I didn't even try to play it. Like, we got to the room, I was like, I didn't know that button did that. I didn't know that did that. I just trying to look at my map, and I snapped the guy's neck. I felt so betrayed, so cheated by myself.
That's so
and by
funny.
the game. It was such a strange moment. I'm really keen to play it again with a group, and we get that familiarity. So people, and maybe up the tasks a bit. So like it becomes a bit harder, and people are separated a bit more, and it's a bit more, it was so easy to pair off, and then like, oh fuck, what do I do now?
Does it remind you
fascinating.
Does it remind you of playing Hitman for the first time? Like jumping in and being like, all right, what am I really doing here? And then like, oh, I just snapped that guy's neck by mistake because I didn't realize that was what that was going to do.
Yeah, kind of. I kind of role play more in Hitman VR than I do in any other game. Like I really enjoy Hitman VR for Mr. Beaning it.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Accidentally.
and like pretending I'm like just gesturing to like real people. When you're in the meeting, people can see your hands in Among Us VR, but when you're in the world moving around, people can't see your hands, I don't think. So there's a bit less of that going on.
Sure.
Yeah. More like, how can I possibly pull this off? So yeah, that was basically it. It was really fun. It was really cool. Like you go into like it's the one ship map that they launched with. And you go into that like south bit, that like storage container area. But then you can like look up. and there's like containers being held by like crane claws up above, and it like and it disappears into shadow, like the ship's so tall. And when the lights go out, the lights really go out. Like it's really fascinating the way they ported it. And the mini games are fun enough. You're like poking menu buttons and whatever. Like it's a good time. It's fun. I would recommend anyone who can find that many people who have it and then somehow organize a time to do it, to try and do it. I'm going to try and do it again at my next opportunity because that was really fun.
It's such a circle inside of a circle inside of a circle of trying to get people to get like...
Who likes Among Us? Who owns VR? Who owns Among Us VR?
Yeah.
Who's free on Saturday the 24th at 6 p.m.?
Yeah, yep.
Yep. So yeah,
nice.
That's it. That's all I got. I played some more Horizon. Cool. But like, I don't have anything to say about it, except that I'm spending less time in side quests. I feel I've grown as a person.
Good, I'm glad.
I like
New Year's resolution.
I wanted to let you all know that.
And I want to let you all know that I have not stopped playing Marvel Snap every single day since last time we spoke.
Every single day? Every
single day.
Wow, goodness me.
I have not missed a day.
And he's still happy? You're still having a great time?
I'm seeing more of the where this game is going to go, and I'm a little bit concerned, but I still think it's very good.
Okay, like monetization or progression or...
Yeah, just monetization.
All that.
Yeah. Just more like, you now have... opening a loot box can sometimes mean you get a variant before you get a new card. I'm like, ugh, that's so annoying because getting a fucking new card is, at this point, really, really infrequent.
Right.
Which is not fun.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to go on a break, this episode break. And then when we come back, we're going to be running through our predictions for 2023. Stay right with us. We won't be long. Jeremy, have you pressed the button yet?
Sorry, I was actually waiting for you to like get there, but I realized I got to get there first.
Yeah. We'll be right back, everybody. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the MiniMapCast. We've been discussing various ways to hack into old consoles.
Yeah, consoles.
And also repair things.
Yeah, yes.
And stick drift. It's been a wild break. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about what this year we think might look like, potentially. We've got a few picks each. I think these are small enough that I think we should just do all of the ones that we've got.
I reckon so, yeah.
You've got more than I do, Jeremy, so you should start.
Yeah. Just before
but yeah, is there any other groundwork for this, really?
Not really. Just sort of like guessing the year. Trying to see
through like singular events.
Yeah. My first one is the saddest one of all. We will unfortunately not see anything Bloodborne related this year.
And here I thought you were going to talk about Stadia.
No. That's getting shut down in like 2 months, right? Or like a month?
Like weeks.
Oh, is it weeks? Oh,
it's soon. It's soon.
Better put that on the old Trello board. We're not going to see anything Bloodborne. There's not going to be a sequel. There's not going to be DLC. There's
remaster.
There's no remaster. It's not coming to PC. There's no PS5 bump.
Is this what you believe? Is this what you are trying to tell yourself so you don't get hurt? Is this like what's the rationale with this one?
It's just not going to happen. I was not one of those people that would say I was a Silent Hill truther for a long time. You know this. It is on record that I have been saying we will get a Silent Hill game for years, and we did. We did get a Silent Hill game. I'm not putting my egg in this basket. We will not be getting Bloodborne anything this year.
Damn.
Yes. Damn indeed.
What?
I said damn indeed.
Oh, I thought you said I am indeed.
No.
I was like...
No. Damn indeed.
So I guess the only Bloodborne things people are going to be getting are new posters and figurines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
People sure do love that game.
It's true.
Not even a sequel.
Not this year.
No, of course not.
No,
I said that.
What are you
That's
talking
fucking
about?
ridiculous.
That's more ridiculous than getting it on PC.
You know what? Who was it on Twitter I saw the other day? Was it Alex or James talking about Armored Core having its targeted release window for this year?
I'm not sure, but holy shit.
Do you remember that game they announced a month ago from the people who made Elden Ring a year ago? Coming out with an Armored Core game this year, apparently?
Look,
absolutely get fucked. Not happening.
Look, I think it is only because that game got leaked 2 years ago.
I guess
We've seen that game 2 years ago. Like we saw footage.
I'm a little worried because there were reports coming out from the studio of Crunch in the lead up to the release of Elden Ring. I'm worried for what that means for the studio. As far as I'm aware, they are quite adept, pardon me, at releasing games fairly frequently. Like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 were within like 12 months of each other, weren't they?
Yeah.
But then it was 3 years till Sekiro, and then 3 more years till Elden Ring. And all of a sudden we're getting an Armored Core game like 18 months after Elden Ring. Like that seems absolutely far-fetched.
I think Elden Ring took too long for them. So I think that they're going to
Sure, they did delay it a few times.
Yeah, but like I mean, as in, I think they will release more frequently again. I think they enjoyed that success.
We'll see. We'll see. I guess that's a de facto one for me that I don't think we'll see it this year. Here's my first one. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom gets delayed out of May and into June/July. I don't think it gets pushed very far, but I think it does get pushed potentially out of the quarter.
I don't think they will do that.
Why is that, Jeremy?
What's the release date for
May 20 something? Like 23rd. It's like gambling.
Yeah.
Just guess the number.
I don't know. I just don't think. I think they'll hit it.
Yeah, I thought that they set that date pretty far out. Like they set it like 9 months ahead. And with how many times they delayed Breath of the Wild, granted, it's been 6 years since Breath of the Wild. There's another date for you to completely blow your mind. But the amount of times they pushed Breath of the Wild and how far away they set their date, I wouldn't be surprised if they get to the cartridge printing date and they're like, it's just not there. We need another 4 or 6 weeks. Like just one of those little ones. Just one of those kicks down the road.
I don't think they will. I think that they've actually got maybe quietly too much coming out later in the year.
What?
Allow me to get to my next prediction.
Oh, please.
We will be getting the Zelda collection this year.
Please don't get my hopes up. Please, not again. I can't do this again, Jeremy.
And we will be getting the Metroid Prime collection this year.
No!
I think we will finally.
I want those things too much.
We will be getting both of those this year. Is my prediction.
I want that so bad, Jeremy. You think we get in one collection?
There's a caveat to the Zelda collection. It has a limited purchase window again.
Oh no! Just Zelda, not Metroid.
Just Zelda. Oh, I don't know. Metroid maybe might stick around for longer because it's like it's less important, I guess. But like,
yeah. Metroid's been so hard to get a hold of, like, because it's been like Metroid Prime's been stuck on the Wii for so long that it's like I can see them kind of feeding into that scarcity in a way if they do go for that time restriction.
Yeah.
Well, that's brutal. That's brutal, is what that is. I don't think they'd have any reason to unless the games are directly competing with the virtual console, with the Switch Online, the N64 Switch Online service. I think that had a big part to play in why 3D All-Stars had a limited time window, because they wanted the people they didn't want to have 3D All Stars out there when the N64 Online was out there. They didn't want people to be like, oh, I just bought that then, I don't need it now, or oh, I didn't buy that then, I missed it, but I've got this. Like, I don't know. I think they just didn't want that crossover. No, but I don't see any reason for them to limit. Well, I mean, I didn't see any reason for them to limit it in the first place, but like, I struggled to see them doing it again.
Sunshine and Galaxy weren't like competition anywhere.
No, I know. That's why I'm specifically mentioning 64.
Yeah, but like the whole thing, I reckon that's just they knew that it would get more people buying it in any given moment, and the over-unders was you get more if you do it. But yeah, so Ocarina of Time 25th anniversary is this year.
Shit, it is. Shit.
Yeah. I know, because it was the year after I was born. And I turned 25 last year.
Oh.
So
okay,
that's how I keep track of that. I keep track of Ocarina of Time because I know I'm less than a year old.
I could speak words when that game came out.
So could I. Didn't care for it. Should have stayed 2D.
Shut the fuck up. Get the hell out of here.
I knew. I just knew.
Next prediction. We're getting out of this. I'm turning this car around. Assassin's Creed Mirage, which, fun fact, I wrote for the first time in here as Mirange.
Mirange.
Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out and is moderately successful, but not in a way that Ubisoft is happy with. We see next to nothing from Ubisoft. We see next to nothing else from Ubisoft before the end of the year.
When's that Avatar game coming out?
No idea. We've just seen that trailer like 2 years ago. I don't think Beyond Good and Evil 2 is happening anymore because they've cancelled like 7 projects in the last however many years.
So the report literally the other day said that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is coming along.
Okay, all right, never mind. Maybe that's still there.
The only reason I wouldn't have said the same thing is literally because of that report from a couple of days ago when they cancelled 3 unannounced games.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I'm glad you saw that then. But yeah, I think Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to be a bit of a like public reception plus. Like, I think it's going to be more well received than Valhalla was, which was kind of just like, yeah, it's another good gigantic game, whatever. We know that it didn't perform as well as they wanted it to. I think Mirage is going to be, I think it is still going to feed on some of that Assassin's Creed fatigue that is around and has been around for those classic games since they stopped making them. Like, the thing is, we've been getting new Valhalla content every 3 to 6 months for the last 3 years or 2 years at this point. Like, there is still Assassin's Creed fatigue because Valhalla didn't really knock the door down in a way that they wanted to following Odyssey.
No, one of my good friends is a very big Assassin's Creed fan, and even they were like, Valhalla was just too much.
Is it me?
No.
Am I the fan? Oh.
I don't even know if
Valhalla was too much.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd call you a really big Assassin's Creed fan.
I thought you were going to say, I don't know if I'd call you a really good friend. But yeah, same thing with Greg Miller on Kind of Funny. He said it recently with all this news, right? Was he like platinumed Odyssey. He just played it for fun. He played it into the ground. And same thing with Valhalla. It's like, it's so big that it loses all of its personality in the storytelling and the characters. There's too much to keep track of. And I agree, it's too much. So, I'm personally think I'm going to love Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm so looking forward to going back to that old style that they moved away from because I miss it dearly.
Honestly, so am I.
They moved away from, well, yeah, right? And that's cool. It's cool they can do that. They changed it so drastically, but they have such a fondness and some mindshare for that old style of Assassin's Creed that like they can realistically go back to and find something there. But I don't think they're going to find a bigger audience than they got with Valhalla, or a bigger audience than they got with the last one with Syndicate or Unity or Black Flag even. Like, I don't think it's going to elevate anything in terms of their sales. And I think that is unfortunately going to look like a failure in their eyes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that game can come out, and I think it can do fine, and it's not gonna blow the series up into what it was. But I think at this point they'll be happy with it. Did all right.
Yeah, and that's true because they've got the future of Assassin's Creed set already. They've got Assassin's Creed Hex and the red one in China and the other one in Japan. Like they announced all of those ones coming as a part of Assassin's Creed Infinity. Like that's coming down the pipe. That's going to be more like Valhalla, Odyssey, Origins, more than likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't think we're going to see nearly anything else from Ubisoft. Maybe we get some announcements by the end of the year if things do start coming along. Maybe a Division, maybe that Avatar game.
Yeah. So,
but I don't think we're getting anything tangible else from them except Skull and Bones before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that.
Skull and Bones is going to delay itself out of this year.
Like, no one plays any bets on Skull and Bones. The only bet that's safe to place on Skull and Bones is that you'll never play it. But sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, like I think in terms of like what we see from Ubisoft, like I reckon we're going to get a next gen version of Division 2 because there's like stuff about ray tracing coming to the PC version.
Okay.
And that might actually mean that Massive can't release Avatar this year because they've worked on that and they might not do 2 in a year.
Right. That's sort of like next gen, get the studio comfortable with it kind of workflow.
Yeah. And I reckon maybe like we maybe get another Tom Clancy that fails before the end of the year, like another, fucking the quarantine shithouse one that came out last year.
That game's dead.
Yeah, I know.
But
like I'm saying, we'll get another one of those, and then another.
The next Tom Clancy thing that we've heard about is Splinter Cell.
Oh yeah, right.
Who knows? Who knows what happens with that?
We don't get that this year.
No.
Where's the Prince of Persia game?
Pardon?
Where's the Prince of Persia game?
Where is that game? I don't know. That one is fascinating. I still really want to play that again. Yeah. All right. What do you got next?
All right. Next up, I got Microsoft completes its merger of Activision. Its acquisition of Activision. Sorry.
Okay.
It's Activision acquisition.
Yes. Is that the extent of your prediction?
They get it through. It's long and it's open and it's tiring, and they have a spotlight for way fucking longer than they want. But I think they get it over the line because I think they had too much momentum going into it for
I agree.
For anyone to stop them.
So this is actually I've got a prediction that's very similar to this, which is Activision Blizzard King acquisition by Microsoft goes ahead, but it takes more than half the year to settle that new FTC dispute that was going to actively bar the acquisition from going ahead.
Yeah, right.
So basically the same thing. I think it's going to be long and drawn out. I think which is not going to be what Microsoft wants, but they're just going to be happy enough that it's there. Like they'll be glad to get it through, but I think they'll feel a bit bruised at the end of it in like a fuck, this wasn't meant to take this long. Like we really wanted to have these Call of Duty sales in here, in the coffers, in the tank by now.
Yeah, look, I think that they're going to look at this no matter what and see it as a complete win, like a complete and utter like positive
victory.
Yeah. But I think it's going to hurt and they're going to come out on top.
Yeah.
But it'll like, I'm excited to see documents and emails that get thrown into a court case that are suddenly open to the public. That's my
like we were seeing with Epic and Apple. It was the funniest shit. When they accidentally had to leak that Epic has some deal with who's the people that made like Off-World Trading Company? Frontier? Oh, I don't know.
Like they had some exclusivity or some deal that was not announced yet, and it came through in one of those documents, and it was sealed, and then the judge brought it up as like someone was.
Oh yeah, and they were like, "Please don't talk about that."
They were referencing redacted material, and then the judge, because game studios' names are so weird, the judge didn't realize that Frontier was the name of the studio.
Right.
And so said it. And then the Epic lawyer was like, let's not talk about this anymore. This is not public information.
Yeah. Oh, funny. All right. What's next?
Wipeout makes a return to the PlayStation.
Really? Wipeout?
Wipeout.
I like that. Because PlayStation's slate is looking pretty bare from like this far away.
So yeah, so I've got one or two predictions, and like it'll be one of these two. I don't know which one. Probably not Wipeout, because Wipeout's kind of out of nowhere. It's either Wipeout comes back or Ape Escape comes back.
Oh.
Developed by Team Asobi.
Okay. Ape Escape by Team Asobi. I like that.
Yeah, the folks behind the Astrobot games.
They could make it actually fun. That's good.
Ape Escape is fun.
I'm kidding. I haven't played it. It's
on PlayStation Plus. I downloaded it last night.
I don't have that anymore. Because I upgraded it to the end of my thing, and then I didn't have any PlayStation Plus for a bit, but then I wanted to hang on to Mass Effect and Fallen Order. Right. So I got standard for a month.
Yeah, right. I can see Team Asobi being given a bigger thing.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, me too. Like, the success of Astro's Playroom was not to be... Well, they understood what they had with that. And there was that weird thing how that was like Team Japan and Team Asobi, and like they kind of got merged under one name now. They're not like two half teams.
Yeah.
Which I remember some devs were sad about, but like it was... For people who are a fan of Astro's Playroom and Astrobot Rescue Mission, which apparently was also excellent.
Really excellent. Really excellent.
Yeah, like they've been kicking goals on their own, just doing excellent kind of things. Kind of almost in like a Mario Nintendo way. You know what I mean? Like
genuinely.
Like this is a PlayStation property. You've only seen it here. It's doing incredible things that you can only do on this system, but also it's just fantastic. Like
it's
like borderline system seller, but just because of the high quality and creativity of the game itself.
I think at the end of the first calendar year that the PlayStation 5 came out, I think I said that was the best game on the console.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. Yeah. That first month of Astrobot was awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go back.
All right, what do you got for me?
Next to me, I got Redfall Ain't All That.
Yeah, but that's a Kerry classic of Kerry doesn't like arcane games.
No, but I think this is going to be something else. Not like everyone loves Deathloop, but I can't get behind it. Everyone loves Dishonored, but I can't get behind it. It gets 7s and 8s. So, you know, bit higher than like a Gotham Knights, kind of like Destiny at launch kind of a vibe. It gets a bit of an audience, but it's also got a definitive feel of why did this come out so soon?
Oh, you reckon it's undercooked?
Yeah, I reckon it's undercooked. I reckon it's unfamiliar territory that is being pushed out the door quite quickly. I have the impression with this one, and this is all navel gazing. Like this is all impressions and just looking at dates and feelings and how soon they say the release date is coming from when we first saw it, when it was just a teaser trailer, like all of that kind of nonsense and like tea leaf reading. But it kind of seems to me like this was a project that was greenlit after the ZeniMax acquisition went through. That was like, hey, what can you make for us that is yours and is ours? Unlike Deathloop, because like under your agreements, you're about to publish a PlayStation exclusive, and from what we know, it's doing really well. What can you do for us that will immediately start paying back this acquisition, these billions of dollars that we just spent on your studio? That's the vibe I get from this game. It feels like it's coming out so fast. When we still haven't seen things like Gears 6, we still haven't seen Hellblade, we still haven't seen... I know Forza Motorsport is finally around the corner, but like that's taken forever. But all of a sudden Redfall, like we heard about it 18 months ago, and now it's ready in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Like that, it feels off to me. The timeline doesn't line up for Xbox Studios, arcane games. They don't come out that fast, especially when they're this different to what they've done before. They haven't been this different before.
So Redfall, as of late last year, has been in development for over 4 years.
What? By which studio? It's Arcane. Which one?
Arcane.
There's different ones. There's like a US studio and like a Canada studio or like a French studio.
French or Canadian, one of those, not the American one. That's all I know. Oh no, maybe it is. Hang on. Arcane Austin.
So Arcane Austin is making Redfall, or is primarily. I'm sure they've got some cross pollination.
Yeah. This is kind of loose. The more I'm reading this, but it's like a reference to the game has been listed on LinkedIn as early as August 2017.
Okay, that could be pre-prod. It's good to hear that like it did exist before that, but like, so Prey was developed by Arcane Austin,
right?
And then can't really say whether Dishonored: Death of the Outsider was by Arcane Leon or not. Wolfenstein Youngblood and Cyberpilot, that was a co-developed thing. Deathloop was by Arcane Leon. And then, Redfall is looking like it was being made by Arcane Austin. Okay, maybe they just held on to this for a bit. Maybe it was sitting there.
I feel like they do
as
that.
it was acquired, but
I think they do that a lot.
Yeah, maybe. I think what got me about it was that like I'm used to seeing at this point in time, you don't normally see a fully cinematic trailer less than 2 years away from the release of a game. Like a cinematic announcement trailer. I'll be more clear. You know, the kind of one that you see with like Brink or like Dead Island. You know what I mean? I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For an announcement that hasn't been for ages in the future. So especially from ZeniMax.
I think the thing is, we saw leaked gameplay of Redfall, I want to say about a year after the game was announced, before we had seen the official gameplay reveal. It might have been less than a year. And I remember we saw the leaked gameplay and it looked like really generic FPS, like shooting stuff.
Sure.
Out of context.
The thing with leaks is like, how old is the footage? Who knows?
Sure. But I think that footage probably was around maybe just after the time of that cinematic trailer, judging based on how far away it looked compared to now, that I can see that game sort of coming together quite quickly, I guess. In terms of just like they know sort of what they're doing. Like they've been making pretty consistent games for quite a while now, that they can kind of like all right, we're in this phase, let's gather the troops, etc.
I suppose so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is more in their wheelhouse than I realize. It's less different than I realize. Maybe it's just kind of like Prey/Dishonored with multiplayer, like, and then the levels are designed around that. But
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not filled with confidence.
This year, a new Deus Ex game will be announced.
Holy shit!
This is just gut. I got nothing on this.
I
have nothing. I got nothing. Yeah, like fans of this is like, I don't know. I feel like
that's fair enough. That's like those are part of the properties that were sold off as part of the
old Square Enix.
Yeah, the Square Enix offloading their Western studios to Embracer Group.
Yes. I can see Embracer looking at that going, we've got this IP. We're announcing we're making another one. I don't know if we see anything, but they're announcing they're making Deus Ex 4. They give it a number.
The numbers don't work. It doesn't work.
What do you mean? They call this one Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
They just complete the sentence.
That's such a good call. That's
what they call this one, Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, and
like that phrasing. That's
I like the idea that Embracer don't understand Deus Ex at all. Like that they don't understand the meaning behind it, and they fuck it up like morons who don't understand the Matrix and talk about as if the Matrix is like not like a capitalist hellscape.
They talk about like, oh, it's a cool simulation with your friends.
Yeah.
You won't believe how good the steak tastes.
Deus Ex is about how sick robots are.
Whoa, check out this out. The implants. Whoa.
It's the meme of the dude going, wow, as the point goes over his head. Wow, cool robots.
And everyone in the studio is like, fuck.
Yeah.
we wanted to make Deus Ex, but not like this.
Have you seen the new Matrix movie
Not
yet?
like this. Have I seen the new Matrix? No.
Gary, watch it because this is what I'm talking about. They have this scene in the movie.
Where someone goes, wow, and the bullet bends over their head.
Kinda.
I do need to watch that. I did, complete tangent here, everybody. I'm sorry, and we won't spoil anything, but I did this weekend watch Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I saw. I'm very happy for you.
Everyone should watch that movie.
It's a delight, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes,
it is.
It's the most movie that has ever existed.
It is, but I like how they go big with the premise, but it's a really focused, like,
so personal
pathos and heart of the story. Like, I love that. This wasn't a canonical multiversal. Anyway,
No.
Everybody should watch that.
Yeah.
Watch that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone in that. Yeah. We got it in. Alex in chat is saying Michelle Yeoh is excellent.
Yeah.
And you're right. But also, I think kind of everyone in that movie was excellent.
Everyone's so fucking good.
Yeah.
All right.
What are we doing?
Predictions.
I think I'm out except for my last one. We got my full stop here.
I've only got two more, so go for it.
This is my longest one so far, and it's the most specific.
Okay.
I'm not particularly committed to it, but it felt right when I wrote it out. So let's go with it.
Okay.
I'm just going to read this out.
Okay.
By the end of the year, we are either hearing too many rumors that it's basically an open secret, or we've received official word that the new Switch iteration is coming soon, late 23, early 24. It's a Switch 2, not a Switch 1.5. It's backwards compatible. They mentioned themes in the announcement, but old systems can't play all the newest games, so it's not forwards compatible necessarily, or rather the old forwards.
What?
How would you say that?
What are you talking about?
I'm saying like
Switch. The Switch 2 games can't be played on the Switch 1.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And not in like a new 3DS way where it was like 4 games compared to the other 3DS, but also like a bunch of them should only really be played on. Not that kind of asterisk nonsense. More like a kind of Xbox One, Xbox Series crossover period where we are getting games that release on the Switch original that are compatible on both. Maybe it gets a bit more horsepower on Switch 2, but at the end of the day, we start seeing games released 1 to 2 years afterwards that are only compatible with the Switch 2 or the Super Switch or whatever they call it. That's my prediction there. That's how I feel about it. That's where I've landed on that.
Okay.
How does it strike you? Do you pull it apart for me, Jeremy, if you have any things to pull apart?
I think it will be backwards compatible.
Yep.
I think
so. Play Switch games.
Yeah, for 2 reasons. One, because the catalog is already there, and
yep.
2, because
and Switch is so popular.
And 2, because the Switch 2 will continue to use cartridges, and then they will therefore
I agree.
Make an endeavor to make the cartridges at least compatible in the same slot or use the same style of cartridge.
Similar maybe like the 3DS, whereas like the 3DS cartridges were
the same with a little
very similar but
with a
like
nipple.
Different. Yeah.
I think it will be more. I actually think that they will make the Switch 2 come out
this year.
No. Sorry, next year. But I think when the Switch 2 comes out, I think it will be, Switch 1 will not play any Switch 2 game at all.
Oh wow, okay. You think it's a full sequel?
I think there might be some games that released on both, similar to Zelda on the Wii U and on the Switch, that there'll be 2 SKUs for certain games.
Okay.
but you will not be able to play a Switch 2 game on a Switch 1. And I think that is because they will want to make the dock a powered like a GPU powered machine.
Oh, so more similar to an external GPU that you might get with a computer, where it literally does add additional grunt to it. It's not just that it's got more power so it can output 1080p without worrying about it. It's like, here's literally a bit more processing power.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, they have to leave the first Switch behind.
Oh, yeah.
It is already a ball and chain around their ankle.
Yes.
It is a fantastic device. I love my Switch. Even although I go through periods of time, which I kind of do with any console throughout all time. But even though I go through periods of time where I don't touch it for months, every time I pick it up and I really dive into something on it, I'm reminded of how much I like that Pro controller, although I'm realizing I'm more and more in the minority on that. How much I enjoy Nintendo's games, how much I enjoy the adaptability of having it on the TV, having it in my hands, having it on the train. Like, that's not news. That's what the Switch is great at. And even although Steam Deck's nipping at its heels, at double the price starting, it's not really in the same ballpark.
And there's room for more than one handheld at a time.
Yeah, a properly fully featured one like this, not the Logitech G Cloud Gaming or whatever.
Yeah. Like, there is enough room for exactly these two handhelds and no more handhelds.
Yeah, like the Aya Neos. Have you seen those? Those like those like PC tablets with controls on the side. Like, those are cool, but again, they start at like $1,100 or something like that, or like $900 US. Like, it's too much for a compromised, cool, kind of hacky solution. It's quite engineered. Hacky isn't fair, but at the end of the day, the Switch 1, for how excellent it is, it was lean at the start of its success. 6 years ago.
Yes, it was.
And we still have it. Like, Breath of the Wild 1 had outrageous, well, not outrageous, but it had very distinctive and distracting pop-in 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're about to get the sequel on the same system. Like, as much as Nintendo likes to, I guess, save money by not worrying about high fidelity stuff, we've got to be looking at DLSS on the next generation or something. We've got to be looking at like performance upscaling. We've got to be able to make it so that it could go into the future without stalling out halfway and people going, oh, it's great, but it's on the Switch.
And look, I think that the plan was never to have the Switch around for this long, right? Like, we know there was going to be a Pro model that was going to come. Like, those reports are out there. No matter what Nintendo says, no matter how much PR they spin, we know that there was going to be a Pro model that was going to launch last year, or the year prior.
And instead we got the year before. And instead we got the OLED model, which was just the same guts, better screen, better stand, better dock.
Yeah, the supply chain shortage hit all of us, including Miyamoto. Do you have any more on that one?
No, that's it.
I realize I've got three more because I skipped one earlier on. But one of them is Square Enix will be acquired.
Oh, do you have a who? Does Jeremy have a who? Does Jeremy hear a who?
I don't, only because it's weird, right? Because I don't think Microsoft are ready to fucking dish out another couple billion.
Absolutely not. Well, maybe.
Look,
I mean, they've kind of been surprising with that, but I would be surprised.
Look, they could, and it would be a lot. But like, the thing is that they are already in bed with the FD. Like, not in bed. They are in the trenches.
In the trenches, yeah.
In the trenches at the moment, because of the FTC. They don't want more on there. If they tried to acquire Square Enix prior to the Activision Blizzard thing going through, then neither of them would get cut. Another one
exactly. That would really hurt their Activision Blizzard acquisition lawsuit.
And so I think they need to get this over the line first before they can even think about acquiring a Square Enix. But Japanese anti-consumer laws are a whole lot stronger than American anti-consumer laws, and so I don't know if Sony can acquire Square Enix.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The thing is, they so desperately want to be sold. Maybe, but again, from what we've seen, the tea leaf reading,
they do. That was why they cut. That was why they sold all their Western studios. That is why they sold their Western studios and their IPs, because they wanted a clean out, ready to be sold. There's clean evaluation for them, which is all of their...
Yeah, no dead weight. No Tomb Raider this performed well, but then exclusive on Xbox, so it didn't go well. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider wasn't developed with this.
Yeah.
And
there is no Avengers on their recently released plate. It is, we made Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy 16 by me.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 14.
And Final Fantasy 14, of course.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, a whole bunch of random shit. Like, vamp for a little bit. I'm just going to look up a bunch of Square Enix 2022 releases, okay?
Yeah, please go for it. Is Babylon's Fall in there? Was that them?
I think that was this year.
Oh, it was definitely this year, but was that Square Enix publishing?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
right.
It was Platinum and Square.
Fuck. What about game? Bravely Default 2 would have been in there. Live Alive would have been in there.
Yep.
The Kingdom Hearts mobile games would have been in there. Melody.
Okay, here we go. I got the Wikipedia list, which should be exhaustive. 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, wow, this is exhaustive. Hang on, everybody. I promise this is worth it.
Keep counting.
Keep hanging.
Keep counting up.
That's not sorted by date. Oh my lord. Okay.
All right, you got 10 seconds to get there. Otherwise,
I'm sorry.
Otherwise, I'm pulling the plug and moving on.
Don't pull the plug. It's going to be worth it. I promise. Okay, okay. Let me just go through all of them. Okay.
Okay.
We've got Voice of the Cards, The Forsaken Maiden on a bunch of platforms.
That apparently was really good.
that was Yoko Taro, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Yoko Taro.
Yeah.
We've got Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster.
Yeah.
Babylon's Fall.
Yeah.
Triangle Strategy.
Yes.
Chocobo GP. Stranger of Paradise. Final Fantasy Origin.
Who could forget?
Chrono Cross, The Radical Dreamers Edition.
Okay.
The Centennial Case, a Shijima story. Live Alive.
Yeah.
Voice of Cards, The Beasts of Burden. Various Day Life.
Mm-hmm.
The Diofield Chronicle. Valkyria Profile Lenneth. Valkyrie Elysium.
Now you're making up.
Nier Automata on Switch. Yeah. Triangle Strategy on Windows. Star Ocean, The Divine Force. Harvestella. Tactics Ogre Reborn. Front Mission. Romancing Saga with a capital G. Dragon Quest Treasures. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. And that's it for the year. Like, how many games was that? Was that like 18 games or something?
That's a lot of fucking games.
So many games. So like they're cleaning house, but also what the fuck was all of that?
It's all their different creative business units, Gary.
CBUs.
So yeah, Square Enix will get bought by who? I don't know. I don't know if Embracer can do it. That's like a big thing for them. That would be their biggest acquisition.
That's true. And we did get that report that was like, they're not getting the turnover they want on these yet, which is classic THQ Nordic.
I know. I was literally
like, that's THQ. That's what you bought, and that's what you've been behaving like.
The thing is, when they bought THQ, they also happened to buy their strategy guide, like their strategy for the year, and they started to play for it.
They've got the THQ Primus strategy guide book. For 2003, and they've been running their business off it ever since.
I don't think it'll be... Look, the only other one I could see is... But I don't know if they'd want to get bought by a Western studio like that, but like 2K, or Take-Two rather, whatever the parent is.
Yeah.
Take-Two.
I don't think that's a good fit for Square Enix, honestly.
I don't think it is either.
For me, you have to remember that they've like quadrupled down on NFTs. We haven't seen it filter down to the game space yet, but Square Enix keeps saying it to the investors. They keep saying we're doubling down in that area. And again, maybe that's just to up their marketabilities for a sell price.
I thought about that for a prediction. I was like, which game? I'm like, is Final Fantasy 14 going to have NFTs? And I looked at it and went, I actually don't think they're going to make it at all. I reckon they're going to crash and burn. I reckon they're going to try and, like, which we know because they're NFTs, of course, going to crash and burn. But I think they're actually not going to be able to implement it on any major game at all.
I think that makes sense. And if they do, I think it'll fail like it did with Breakpoint for Ubisoft.
Okay, crazy idea, Carrie. Nintendo buys Square Enix.
Whoa! Goodness me!
Nintendo acquired a studio for the first time in a while last year, don't forget.
Nintendo did. Who was that?
I don't remember. Nintendo
Neither do I.
Acquired 2022. They acquired an animation studio.
Great.
No, sorry. They also acquired SRD. It was like an Insomniac. It was like an for viewers at home, you just got to listen to the Nintendo Snap. Yeah, it was like it was like an Insomniac. It was like Sony acquiring Insomniac. It's like, oh, okay.
Right. Okay, it was like an inevitability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that, and I would imagine them here, like folding in all of those random studios that made Lenneth and Valkyrie Elysium and whatever, like into larger teams to make
Kirby
more
games.
consolidated, focused things. But man, could you imagine Final Fantasy? Every Final Fantasy from here on would be Nintendo exclusive. That would be such a weird step, though.
Imagine Final Fantasy VII not finishing on the PlayStation 5.
Oh, and like so distinctively downgrading visually. So it's like we start at like PS4 level and like we go up to like PS5 exclusive, and then we come back to like start of the PS4 level in like 7 years.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't think Nintendo want them. But
yeah,
I think Square Enix will get bought. I'm just going to wrap up the final two quite quickly because I know we are getting close to time. The new Skate game comes out and it's not very good.
They've said it's coming out early, right? It's going to come out free and like early access.
I know, but I think there'll be like a core like, oh no, I don't think this is not hit the mark as a game.
That's funny. That's a good pull. I forgot about Skate.
Yeah. And finally,
because they've called it not Skate 4, right? It's just Skate.
Yes, Skate.
Skate Infinity.
Finally, now this one is been a little bit recently, heavy rumored, nothing official, nothing real, nothing tangible. But there's a rumor floating around from Nick from Xbox Euro that Xbox is looking to work out a way to bring Scalebound out.
Whoa! No fucking way!
Like Nick on Xbox Euro was like, this is purely rumor that I'm hearing. But Nick doesn't have the worst track record.
That's fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. Well, I don't even know how to process that.
I know, right? But yeah, there's a little thing floating around. It's never left anybody. 2014.
When was Scalebound cancelled?
2015, I believe.
It was scheduled for release in 2017. Not why, when. It was cancelled in January 2017.
Right, okay.
Developed by Platinum Games from 2013. So they were working on this for three and a half, nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
They want to get it back. It's been 6 years since it was cancelled.
It's always just been in the conversation. It's never left.
That's true. It did capture something there really quickly with just like a promise.
Yeah.
And then evaporated. like a certain, like the oil of a certain reptile. Like, wow. Okay. I don't have much for that. I don't know what to say to that. That one stopped me in my tracks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can look. I don't know. But maybe. That's all you get.
If it comes back, if it's announced, if it's being developed, who buy?
By Platinum.
Ballpark?
No, by Platinum.
You think just restarted with Platinum?
You got to remember, this was a different era for Xbox, and Platinum liked the project.
So it was cancelled after Phil Spencer came in to fix the game, or to fix Xbox after the botched Xbox One launch.
Here's the thing. So Phil Spencer said Scalebound wasn't working. Like he said that. Like I'm 99% sure that's a quote. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that was a quote from way back when.
regardless, he saw more of its development than the previous Xbox head did, just basing on looking at the timeline of this.
Yeah, like he was in charge of like development at that point, and then he went on to become the CEO, right? Like that was like the head of gaming at Microsoft.
Okay.
So he knows that project, and I think at that point maybe it wouldn't have worked. But I think that it has stayed long enough for a game that never came out, and I know that there's always that like. It's that the impossible game is the one that people want the most, right? You know, I don't actually truly believe that Star Wars 1313 would have been a really amazing game.
Sure.
But it's the one we never got, and multiple was,
totally.
right?
And it was the one we never got, but also the one that we saw.
We saw a lot of it, right?
We didn't see Ragtag, but people saw 1313.
Yeah. So we saw Scalebound.
Yeah.
I think that there was
a few times,
and like there's enough there. I think that they can look at that and go, okay, let's give this another shot. And look, Platinum can put out a game. Platinum can get a game done.
Yeah, they really can.
There's no.
And why was this developed for 3-4 years? It doesn't make any sense.
Look, maybe the Xbox at that point wasn't going for that, right? Like they were in a pretty heavy like pivotal moments, right? There was not a whole lot happening for them at that time. 2015
it was cancelled before Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly. What was it? Cancelled 2017?
It's the very start of 2017.
Yeah, like that was the beginning of them starting to turn stuff around. But like that was like they were making like big decisions. This might have just been a collateral of like I need to look like I'm making big decisions right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I need to look like I'm taking control.
Why wouldn't they do something like, say, like indefinite hiatus? You know what I mean? Like
probably because they didn't own it, or like probably because they didn't own the studio, right? They couldn't put that studio on a different track.
Yeah,
and so they were like, let's cut our loss here and just like let's just move on.
Funny.
Like I don't know. There's a million and one reasons why it could have been happening. But
if it doesn't ever come out. And maybe even if it does, I really hope we get like a full-on investigative report or even a documentary chasing like the ghost of Scalebound.
On Scalebound, I think if it doesn't come out to Scalebound, then if Scalebound does not come out, then we will get another game that is what Scalebound was.
Yeah,
Platinum have said over and over again that they would love to do a game like that again.
It's funny. It's interesting. It seems almost doomed to fail in a way. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, that's about it. We have a suggestion in chat for what are our predictions for what happens to Fortnite. I think we might cover that in the post show over on twitch.tv. Have a bit of time. I need to marinate on that one a little bit because they've just had a big shake up there. So we'll sit on that one. We'll have a chat about it in the chat on Twitch. But that's it. That's about it for us for this week, everybody. We'll be back next week, every week thereafter, for the rest of the year. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to listen to next week's episode. Now, Jeremy, we've got this. I'm running off script a little bit here, but number 137 of the MiniMapCast next week says the topic of the show is Halo. Does that seem right to you? Halo?
Yeah, the topic of the show is you can have this one.
It's a Yichto. Yeah. All right. Okay. Cool. So
I'll
I'm
write
thinking
that better
like
next
we
time.
already ranked Halo. What is that? Yeah. So next week we're doing a You Can Have This One. We're back with another You Can Have This One where we try to design our most ideal next iteration of a popular franchise. Next week is going to be Halo. And you know, devs, if it's good enough, you can just have that one.
You can have this one.
You could just have it. There it is, everybody. You can have this one. The best way to make sure you don't miss that episode is to follow all of our socials at MiniMapAU. You can follow us individually too. Jeremy, where can they follow you on Twitter?
At Obi-Wan Jez on my brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max. I love this phone. I'm so happy I got a new phone.
That was an unpaid advertisement right there, is what that was.
Twitter's so big now, and it's fast.
It's just the same Twitter.
It's bigger.
It's still the same garbage fire, Jeremy.
Bigger Twitter.
Anyway, you can also find me in the garbage fire on Twitter at KJPalmer_24. If you're on Hive, I'm not. Just let me know and I'll tell you what it is. You can also head to minimap.com.au for everything else Minimap related, including the Mini Disc podcast that is going to be coming up hopefully first week of February if we hit our targets.
Yes.
Again, stay tuned to our socials if you want to stay abreast of that. So this is our new outro. And the latest article we just published, which was, I can tell you what it was. It was my Final Fantasy VII remake review. In April of 2020. But hey, that's not a bad review.
It was good. It was good. I liked it. It's the only review we got on the site. It's the best review on minimap.com.au.
That will be the most recent thing next week as well. But week after that, I should have something written for it. I'm percolating a little Star Wars something to write. So we'll see. For those of you that are here with us live on Twitch, as I mentioned before, stick around. We're going to start the post show, talk about that little Fortnite prediction question. For those of you listening later, make sure to give us those so tasty 5-star ratings. Yes, that's written in the script. It helps out a lot. And consider joining us next week for the live show. It's a lot of fun to interact with the chat, see you live, even if we can't respond at the time every time because we're trying to make a tight podcast. It's great to have that interaction, and we're always here before, during, and after the show. Lastly, you can help support us on Patreon if you want to help keep the lights and mics on. You can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/minimapau, and for $5 Australian bucks, you'll get 24 hours of early access for all episodes of the MiniMapCast, as well as some more benefits, all while helping us out greatly. That's going to do it for us for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know what you think of our plan for the new year. And until next week, dream on. Dream on. Dream on. Dream on. Dream on.